Hey y'all, and welcome back to Naraya Speaks. Today's episode, I called it Run a Strict Program. Before I even get into boundaries, relationships, or non negotiables, I want to share what that phrase actually means to me because when people hear quote unquote strict program, they think I mean being hard, cold, unapproachable, or difficult. And that's really not what I mean at all. To me, running a strict program means operating your life more intentionally. It means no longer allowing chaos, loneliness, inconsistency, trauma, boredom, and even confusion to have unlimited access to you. It means understanding that peace does not happen accidentally. And you have to protect it. You have to structure your life in a way that protects your mind, your spirit, your healing, your energy, and your future. So, no, running a strict program isn't about controlling other people, as some people like to say it. It's more so about governing yourself. I think it's more so about choosing self discipline. It's about controlling your reactions, your boundaries, your habits, your standards, your access. Because if you don't decide what belongs in your life will ultimately decide for you. And honestly, a lot of us are exhausted because we've spent years operating without any kind of emotional structure. We've always been available, always understanding, always forgiving, always overextending ourselves, always abandoning ourselves to keep other people comfortable. When you don't run a strict program, you can slowly become a people pleaser, like a recovering people pleaser without even realizing it. You start believing being needed is the same as being valued. And there is a big difference because there have been people who have needed my assistance or help or anything that I could do as far as resources or finances, and they never valued me. Like birthday comes around, not a call. Holidays come around, nowhere to be found. But when they need a favor, my line is easy to find for some reason, right? So that's the difference. Like, being needed is not the same as being valued. You can overextend yourself, you can overexplain yourself, you can overgive, overcompromise, and then wonder why people don't respect your limits. But the truth is, people consider you last and less because you keep considering yourself last first. I'm not saying you should become selfish. I'm not saying stop abandoning yourself trying to prove you're a good person. I'm saying that eventually you're going to realize everybody cannot have unlimited access to you. That realization will change everything for you. Everything is internal. So what as within, so without. As soon as you start changing that within you, everything outside of you will change as well. Because boundaries stop feeling mean once you understand what emotional chaos costs you. And that's where non-negotiables have to come in. I think many of us were raised to overextend ourselves, to keep giving, keep understanding, keep forgiving, keep shrinking, even when it hurts us. And eventually you wake up exhausted because you realize you've been abandoning yourself trying to make everybody else comfortable. See, for a long time, I confused access with connection. I thought constantly being available made me more loving. I thought over explaining myself made me more understanding. But then I started to realize the more I explain, the less they understand. The more available I am, the less they value my presence. So I thought giving endless chances at the time would make me mature, but the whole time I was betraying myself trying to avoid disappointing other people. And that's why boundaries matter. Not because you hate people, but because you finally understand what chaos costs you emotionally. To me, running a strict program, like I said, means being more intentional. Intentional with your time, your energy, your habits, with who gets access to you and when. Everybody cannot come with you into your healing journey. And some people only like the version of you that had no boundaries. I've been there before. The version that always answered, always over explained, always gave another chance. Oh man. And then when you start to change that, some people don't like you anymore. You stop being somebody that is willing to be walked all over. You stop being the one that doesn't say no when somebody asks for a favor. Hey, can I borrow? No, no, I'm in my say no era, as they say. Um, Growth changes people, healing changes people. Sometimes peace requires distance from people. Doesn't mean that you don't love those people. More so, I love you from a distance is a real thing. Running a strict program also means understanding that access is earned. Every conversation does not deserve your energy. Oh man, that's a big one because I used to be on spaces on Twitter a lot, on X as they call it now. And a lot of the conversations were so like draining to me at some point because sometimes we're talking about people that just want to argue, fuss, and fight like every single day. And all of that drains my energy. Also, right now, I also get a little bit irritated if I've already told you that I need space and you're reaching out to me a week later and you're knocking on my door and you're calling me every day after I said I need space. I feel like that's disrespectful and I don't have the capacity for it because the block button is it's one push away, right? So, and also, every apology does not deserve reconnection. Yeah, I'm sorry, but yeah, like, I'm sorry. And it's just like, okay, I'm rolling my eyes. Like, okay, okay. I've been sorry 100 times too, and I've always tried to exude some kind of internal change to the dynamic every time I've been sorry. But if it's not being registered as such, then there goes the whole loving you from a distance thing again. Every relationship does not deserve unlimited chances. The only other thing that I feel about that, so to say, would be there are women who will forgive a man 800 times for betraying her trust and maybe even jeopardizing her health STD wise or anything like that, but can't seem to forgive her own family or her friends or her children. I find that to be a little bit like, why are you giving unlimited chances to one person when there are people who love you more and care about you more and you can't give them chances? That being said, that is what I've learned when it comes to running a strict program. When it comes to me, not every apology means we're gonna be right back to where we were, and not every relationship I'm gonna be like, okay, let's try again. I still love deeply, I still care deeply, but grace without boundaries becomes self destruction at some point, and I refuse to destroy myself trying to prove that I'm loving, that I'm caring, that I'm graceful, that I'm forgiving, that I'm generous. I refuse to destroy myself to prove anything to anyone. And one thing I learned about love is, and this is like a reset for me for the last 5 months now since I've lost my mother, um, and that is the one love that is unconditional would be your parents, for sure. Hopefully, hopefully, although those relationships can come with their own struggles, everybody has their own different family dynamic. But needless to say, I would hope that your parents love you. And one thing I learned about love is that confusion is not love. Anxiety is not love. Inconsistency is not love. Begging for clarity is not love. Someone exuding punishment to you when you do something they don't like is not love. Whether they want to do the silent treatment, whether they want to name it being in timeout, whether they want to throw around their new piece in front of you because they know that it would make you feel some type of way. Sorry about that. It's 9 o'clock. So at some point, I think many people stay attached to potential instead of reality. We wait for people to become who they promised they would be instead of accepting who they consistently show themselves to be. And at some point, you stop asking, how do I keep this person? And you start asking, what does this situation cost me emotionally? Now, that question changes everything. Some people are expensive spiritually. And now, one of my biggest standards is peace, not perfection, but peace. That's it. I think it has to do with some people don't like to take accountability. Meanwhile, I'm taking mine. Some people like to flip the narrative and make it seem like it's you, knowing what they're doing. Some people will say, no, I care about you, I care about you, I care about you. But then when you need someone, you can't even call them. So lately, I've been realizing that protecting my peace comes with loneliness sometimes, not because I'm unloved, but because I no longer feel comfortable entertaining things that drain me. So I spent too much time over explaining myself to people committed to misunderstanding me. Like, I would send paragraphs and they still wouldn't get it. And it would be like, well, I over explained. How don't you understand? Because some people are just so committed to not understand. I'm talking about, I've even had someone call me every single day, almost every single morning. And before they would believe anything that I say, they would run to social media and believe what these people who have never met me in real life would say about me versus what I'm saying. Like I've been there. And who was the person helping them? Not those people. It was me. So with that being said, I also spend too much time trying to normalize chaos, trying to understand where somebody is coming from when they're causing chaos. Like, I'm not there anymore. I'm sorry. I can't even remember what it was like to be like that anymore because no, I'm not normalizing chaos, especially when somebody is already going through grief, somebody is already going through pain, somebody is already going through enough. I'm not going to sit here and normalize the chaos that you're trying to bring my way, especially now that I know silence feels safer than confusion. I would rather say nothing. Like, at some point, like, I remember I got really upset not too long ago with someone, and I gave myself a little challenge, and I looked at the clock and I said, Naraya, we're gonna be quiet for 10 minutes. I think 2 minutes went by and I was talking again, and I was like, oh, well, now we're gonna try all over again. 10 minutes. Just a challenge for myself because it was like, you know what? Nothing that I say is gonna be nice. So it's better that I say absolutely nothing, right? And I don't think I'm becoming cold. I think I'm becoming more intentional, like I said, because after that 10 minutes that I didn't speak, I was able to like look at the scenery. It was a scenic view for me, and focus on what was really bothering me versus that little disagreement or misunderstanding, so to say. We weren't really arguing about much of anything. It was what was really going on internally. And I think sometimes we forget that as within, so without, right? So, um, after that 10 minutes, I was able to go back to that conversation. And we actually had a good resolve after that. It was a good resolve. We were able to speak about the things that were going on without it being so defensive. It was more of an understanding. So, another thing about running a strict program is that if you can't control your tongue, you can't control anyone. And that was something that I had a very big problem with, especially when drinks are involved and when I'm getting irate and I'm getting really, really upset. And you could blame it on the fire sign in me if you would like, whatever you want to blame it on. It doesn't matter. It was just a lack of self discipline. So at the end of the day, it's better to say absolutely nothing than to say something that you cannot take back. And that has a lot. You have to run a strict program within yourself before you run a strict program with anyone else. Okay? Because if I didn't say that first, that is a fact. That is a fact. Like, you have to tell yourself, I'm getting up at 5 in the morning. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. These are my goals. This is what I need to get done. This is by the time I need to get it done by. And I'm going to be as strict with myself as possible. So that means when somebody comes around knocking on my door, like, hey, you want a shot of tequila? It's a no, because I know what I gotta do today. Right? So I'm learning that everybody cannot have unlimited access to me. Every conversation does not deserve my energy. Every connection is not in alignment because distractions are like pop up ads. They're going to come. They're going to come. They're going to come. Me personally, right now, someone consistently reaching out to me to talk about how they feel and their feelings and romantic interests. I don't have time for that. I don't want to keep talking about how you feel every day. I don't. And maybe running a strict program simply means respecting yourself enough to stop negotiating against your own well being. So I came up with like 3 journal prompts for for the people listening, if anybody wants to take one, write one down today or whenever you get a chance. But the first question is going to be, what is something I continuously tolerate that drains my peace? Number two is going to be, who benefits from me having weak boundaries? And the last one is going to be, have I mistaken inconsistency for love or potential before? That's a good one, right? Okay, so thank y'all so much for listening to this episode of Naraya Speaks called Run a Strict Program. If this resonated with you, share it with somebody who may need the reminder that boundaries are not punishment, they are protection. And remember, the people who truly respect you will never require you to betray yourself just to keep them comfortable. Protect your peace, stand 10 toes down on your standards, and stop negotiating the things that cost you your well being. And I'll talk to you soon. Share this with someone that you think may need it. And we'll see you guys next time for another episode of Naraya Speaks.